Welcome to our module on marketing, and this is our first lesson in this module. And in this lesson, we want to give you an introduction to the important things we're going to be talking about as we go along. Today, we're going to talk about the marketing mindset, and a good place to begin is just by asking the question, what is marketing? What do we mean when we talk about marketing? I think the key thing for each of us to understand is that marketing is about creating opportunities for sales. Many times business owners kind of mix the two, sales and marketing, and they go hand in hand, obviously. But marketing is really about lead generation, where sales is really about lead conversion. And so you've got to create those opportunities. You've got to generate opportunities before you can sell your product or services and make money from your business. So it's important to think of that as marketing is that first piece where you're generating new opportunities for potential business. A key thing that I want you to realize is that marketing is really about understanding the needs of the customer and then educating them on why they should do business with you. In fact, I like to say marketing is about education. It's about education. But before you can educate people, you've got to understand them. You've got to think about what their needs are, what their wants are. What are they looking for? Why would they want your product or service? And so marketing requires research, and it requires communication. So in your marketing research, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on this, but you do need to think about it, and you do need to ask some questions. For example, how do you currently identify the needs and wants of your customers? Do you have a system? Do you have a methodology where you're constantly getting input and feedback on what your customers really want and need? What do you know for sure about the needs and wants of your customers? Too many times we just make assumptions, and our assumptions can often be wrong. So we need to ask the questions. We need to hear the prospects and the customers speak and tell us what they need. And you need to ask yourself, what do I need to know? What are the important things that you need to know as a business owner in order to provide or deliver the product or service that's going to meet that need and cause them to want to continue to do business with you for years to come? One of my clients in the past was an engineering company, and this owner who owned this engineering company, their customers were really architects. And so he was constantly trying to build relationships and market to architects who would hire their services for their construction projects. And so he had a great idea, and his idea was to simply go talk to architects and ask them a question. And the question he asked them was this: how has our industry fallen short? How has our industry fallen short? And he just thought he'd just go and ask that question because he knew that oftentimes there were frustrations that the architects would deal with their engineering firms. And so he just got appointments lined up with a number of different architects that he wanted to get to know and wanted to build a relationship with, and thank them for their time. And he says, I really just want to take a few minutes and get your feedback on this. And he'd ask them that question: how has our industry fallen short? And he said he was amazed at how they just immediately opened up and began to talk. They talked about their frustrations with the different engineering firms that they'd worked with. They talked about deadlines not being met. They talked about drawings not being accurate. They talked about a lack of responsiveness from their engineering firms when they needed information and needed communication about different issues. And he took that down, and what was interesting is he went to a number of these architects and asked every one of them the same question as if he'd never heard this information before, and he said they all kept saying the same thing. And so what they did is they recrafted their marketing message and their efforts to communicate: we are committed to meeting deadlines, we are committed to responsiveness, and we are committed to accuracy and integrity in our work. And they found ways to give evidence of that and to give accountability, built-in accountability, to ensure their prospective customers that they would deliver on that promise. And so it was a very simple way to gather research information that has proven to be a very powerful tool for him in his business. And so think about what's the best way for you to gather information. You may want to do a simple interview. One simple question is powerful. Maybe you've got 2 or 3 questions you'd like to ask prospects or customers about their needs and about how you could help them. You may want to use surveys. I've had clients use focus groups where they pulled random people together, consumers who would use their product or service, and just have focus groups with them to gather information. You may want to do a form of customer feedback where you do customer satisfaction surveys and feedback surveys, so your actual customers will tell you, hey, you could help me more by this. And so just thinking about how to do that. Another good way is you can search your competitors. Go online and just see what other people in your industry, how they market themselves. What are they speaking to? What are the pain points that they're speaking to toward their prospects? Another interesting way that people have started using is Amazon. You go to Amazon and just do a search about topics related to your industry and find out what are the books that are being written, and then look at the books and look at the questions and answers that are taking place there on the reviews. And so you can get a lot of good information through these simple forms, and really it costs you practically nothing but a little bit of time to gather powerful information that could transform your marketing efforts. And of course you can purchase demographic and psychographic data, and that's helpful too. But there's so much you can do on your own, and honestly the one-on-one and the small group interactions with people usually give you the most powerful and beneficial data. So do your research, do your marketing research so you understand your customers, and then you got to have the mindset that I am in the marketing business. You may do it in the home services industry, but you've got to think, I'm in the marketing business. This is my primary job, marketing. It's not plumbing, it's not tree care, it's not home services, it's not engineering, it's marketing. That's my primary job as a business owner. I'm in the marketing business. I just happen to do it in the engineering industry or in the construction industry or in the home services industry. And so start saying to yourself, I am in the marketing business. I am in the marketing business. And realize that marketing, again, is about education. It's about educating the right audience on the advantages and the value of doing business with you. And so I like to say it this way: marketing equals education plus evidence. Marketing equals education plus evidence. And as we get into these additional training videos in this module, we'll talk about how to communicate the evidence that you deliver on your promise and that you have a powerful, almost a guarantee of how you're going to add value to your customers. One of the topics that we'll be talking about is social proof and how to use online reviews and things like that. But that's for a later training video. I want you to think about what's the most effective thing you're doing today to educate your customers and prospects on the advantages and value of doing business with you. What's the most effective thing you're doing right now? Think about that. And then ask yourself, what evidence are you currently providing that supports and backs up your promises? Think about those questions. And all of this is just mental work, the mindset work that you need to do as a business owner before you even choose a marketing medium or strategy. So to wrap this up, let me give you an overview of where we're going to go in the following videos. There are 3 major components to marketing. They are, number 1, communication. Having a message that makes an impact and communicating it effectively. And sometimes that's one-on-one, sometimes that's through an advertising piece, sometimes that's through a presentation. There are many, many different ways to communicate your message, but you've got to get clear on what your message is. And so the first component is communication, communicating your message. The second component is branding. And we'll talk a little bit about what branding is and how important that is for you. But be careful, as a small business owner, you cannot buy a brand. And we'll talk about that. And how does a small business build a brand? And there's some powerful ways that you can do that now with internet technology. And then the third and final area is really the meat and potatoes, and that's lead generation. how do you create new opportunities to acquire new customers. So get ready, study these videos. They're powerful, and you'll be surprised at what a difference it'll make in your business as you refine and sharpen your marketing efforts.